If you can let me know what I can do to help the scouts with their litter pickup and walk.
Who, you're talking to me?
When-
I don't have anything to do with the scouts.
I understand that, but what,
All right, can we hold that one for?
Okay.
right,
All right.
thanks. All right, good evening. Welcome to the March edition of the Environmental Advisory Committee. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First topic, approval of the minutes from February. Does anyone have any questions, comments, additions, deletions?
No.
Nope.
I submitted one or two.
Okay.
The
Right,
date
right.
also.
All right, then, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
also motion.
We have a second?
I'll let you, Dave, since you
Second.
submitted the notes.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Thanks again, John. All right, project updates. Tony, I guess, does not have an update on the Get Solar program.
I can just provide,
Do you-
last time Tony and I talked, when I talked to the public works director about the roof and
Mhm.
the age of it, you got a game plan a little bit better if you go down that route. Doing that,
Okay,
just that. That is the concern is if we did something. How soon before we have to do something with the roof, now we're disturbing that, so.
right.
So I think it's just, we need to figure out what that. Short-term and long-term plan is for the roof of the building.
Okay,
Before we can really figure out if that's the best option.
and that's it for doing anything within the town.
On our
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, on our building.
Yeah.
Um,
The same thing if there's anything over at the public works building,
okay.
anything that's on a roof, I think we just have to be cautious of
Oh, yeah, sure.
the roof and that's, I think everybody, when they look at the solar panels on the roof is thinking about what's the next time they have to do something to their roof.
Right, right.
Good.
Okay, no, thank you, thank you. Like I said, I know you and Tony are doing what you can with that. And the other component of that was the Get Solar program. All I know is we got, Jack helped me out here, I think maybe you were copied on some of this, that our
Great.
representative for that program is changing. And that's really the only update I have this month. And let's see, next up, we have sustainability. And thank you very much, Jeff, for the advanced report. That's really helpful. So I hope everyone had a chance to look it over, and we'll turn it over to you. And
Yeah, and every time I want to that I'm going to have something to deliver on this, I will do that because I'm really looking for feedback. I'm really looking for people to say it's what got me here last time. Tony getting me reports that he didn't even have, that they even got me started. So I was way off the wrong foot last time. So I'm looking for feedback, positive or negative. This is a game of inches. The certifications that are available are platinum, gold, silver, and bronze based on 2019 standards and what we have submitted and is what's official. We earned a gold certification. The 2022 standards, now they every 3 years they'll change the standards, and they're going to continue to tighten the screws on the standards. It'll get more and more difficult to meet these
right,
the platinums and certainly the golds. So there's 947 potential points. Right now, we would probably have only 243 points based on the capstone study,
okay,
which would be 25.66%, which would barely be a bronze. So that's about as
so we've
low
got
as
a
you can
long
get.
ways to go.
We do. Now I have a call on Friday with Sustainability PA. And I'm going to make sure that we maintain the gold until we sort of, we're going to try to use, we change people, this and that. We're going to, I'll play that game where, sort of hold on to our gold as long as we can, because the idea is that you're supposed to reapply even before the 3 years is up to make sure that what you already have achieved is still in there and you can start the new standard. So they want you to achieve a new standard or the same standards by the time that 3 years is up. Well, obviously, we're well past that. So I'm gonna try to hold on to that goal as long as I can, but to find out how we can begin to work with each other. The capstone study identified tier 1 and tier 2 initiatives. The tier 1 initiatives seem to be, in their mind, the low hanging fruit. I wouldn't look at spending $1 million on new sidewalks as low hanging fruit. But they did, but we'll take a look at things, that are actually plausible. So
Right.
that's further on down the road. I think what's important is that I've established where we were, I've established where we are.
Mhm.
I haven't established where we're going yet. And then also relationships within Sustainable PA have been established. I am now a user on their site. We have a call on Friday, like I mentioned. John and RJ have been invited. I expect them to join. I think what's important to me is that when we do start to take a look at what we need to accomplish to get to a gold, and we actually say we've done this, the answer of yes is no longer no longer a sort of a defensible answer. You have to be able to prove it. So there's going to be a lot of, okay, here's the document that says that we did this, and now upload it onto the site. And so from that standpoint, I won't be able to do that from my house, and so I'm going to need, and I certainly expect there to be enough support here, but there'll be a lot of support between me and whoever is in this capacity.
Because they're township documents. that
Yeah, documents I won't have access to, things I can't upload, all that type of stuff. So I think what's important is that that I establish a good relationship with John and RJ, determine who is going to be the person who I can work with the closest to pull documents, to prove these things, to at least defend what we've already done and what we can do that's easy.
Mhm.
Secondly, it's then trying to set priorities on where we can go with this. Can we get the gold? Is this something that we want to do? Who do we have? The ideal situation is that there is a person on the EAC working with an employee of the municipality, and then also with a board member. So that's their scenario, their sort of three-pronged attack on how to accomplish this. And so what we'll need to do then is work with somebody on the board to prioritize which way we want to go with this. And all I can do is try to manage that, be a project manager on that, and bring those ideas and not necessarily fight for them, but to see what we can accomplish.
Right. Sounds exhausting, but what is
It's
the,
good for me.
what is the deadline? And maybe I missed this. Is that what the 3 years is? How long do we have?
I'll find out this Friday.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I can, I think I can use some stalling skills to, sort of-
To hang on to God.
I think so.
As long as
I
we
think so.
can.
I can play the dumb card for a while, and I'm new at this and all this kind of stuff. But
Absolutely.
yeah. So I'll be pulling all this out.
Okay,
Hey, John.
perfect.
Jack is raising his hand.
Oh,
Oh, Jack?
Jeff, I wanted to tell you, I'll be happy to work with you. I'm intimately familiar with the town budget. And I also know what we're kind of looking at getting done in the town. So I can maybe help you get some low hanging fruit and work with Brian to get it moving.
that's great. Thank you, Jack.
If the trail gets momentum, is that a
Those things are
good thing, a great
really
thing for
good.
us?
Those things are really good. There is and that was one of their tier 1 initiatives that they felt like was easily achievable. However, I guess maybe if you have the plan in action, that helps. But those trails, those connectivity, and certainly anything that connects to the high school, keeps the kids off the street, sidewalks, trails, bikes, anything like that, that's big points.
Now, is it something that has to be complete, or if we have a plan, like, Jack's working with the connectivity and it's in the comprehensive plan, do we get points for?
Yeah, I think
Working
there are
towards
portions that, like, projects that are gonna be done in like 1.5 years.
Yeah, yes.
The other question I had is, I don't know what the timing is, but last time John had an intern in here that was helping us with that. So if that's kind of like a summer activity, it might be something you want to think about, you know, advertising or thinking about a summer intern to help
Just
us.
to follow that up, we've been having conversations about kind of some type of intern that could work. We
Okay,
could touch a little bit of sustainability, maybe some other duties we need in the office.
yeah, I think
So
this,
we've been trying to make that work. And what that looks like, to get someone that's interested in kind of being a dual intern in that sense on top.
yeah, I think the woman last time, I think that was kind of her thing was.
Yeah, if you get like the
sustainability,
local
so-
government academy interns.
Right.
Sometimes, they're going down this path. But we didn't get into that program this year.
Okay, right.
So we're looking at something maybe with a LaRoche kind of concept.
Oh,
That's kind of
okay.
where we were
All right.
going.
And I would expect that would be helpful because I would expect there's probably going to be a big rush of work in the beginning to upload and provide the proof of our 263 points.
Right.
You know, maybe we have to provide proof of 70 or 130 or something. I don't know what it is, but that's work. That's something. And then certainly working with the spreadsheet and you know, and prioritizing what we have and, you know, anything we can do going forward. So I would appreciate that. That's great.
We'll see what we get. No promise there, but.
Yeah. Yep.
Get someone that could help us with some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that was a big help the last time around.
Right, I mean, I think she took a lot of the heavy lifting burden off of John or whoever was, you know, whoever in town hall was doing it, so. Just
Okay.
a thought,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, litter, recycling, that's all in there. Like, there was a lot of
Okay.
things in there. I'm like, well, I'm glad we're checking these boxes.
right?
And, yeah.
right. So Brian, is that something you were doing in previous lives or?
I've dealt with it a little bit, never through the full process.
Oh, okay.
Explored if it made sense at one of my communities. And if we could answer all the questions truthfully and be able to pull it off and hit those numbers.
Mhm.
That's where we kind of started one day. It was just a staff capacity problem and there. Of when would we have the time to answer all these questions? and
Right.
Provide the proof.
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
No.
For Jeff?
That's a big thing to
No, it is, and I really appreciate,
get that started.
yeah,
Yeah.
kind of summarizing it all and.
Once I get all the documentation and after Friday, I think that'll be a big step on really, you know, looking for momentum on this thing. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and make sure you know, keep up with all of us,
Mhm.
you know, rack our brains if there's.
Yeah, I need that.
documentation of things
Right.
I
we've
need
done,
that.
we'll
Right.
Yeah.
mhm.
I know the last time, I
help
think
you out.
Shelley sent out the whole list, you know, of
Yeah.
the different categories.
Right.
And we just kind of. Yeah, I know something about this. I know something about this. I don't know anything about this, you know, kind of. Help us focus on areas.
We can definitely do that. Yeah,
help
John,
you.
John did that for me before and I picked through it. So once we get to a better place, I'll do
Okay.
that.
All right.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. Now, thank you very much.
You're
Jeff.
welcome. Thank you.
All right, Dave, you're up next.
Oh, there's a lot going on. We have our two cleanups, volunteer roadside cleanups scheduled April 15th. Easy to remember, tax day, and April 22 is Earth Day. Meeting at 8:30 here, sign up is going on. John's got I don't know, a dozen or so people signed up already, which is pretty good. We just kicked off advertising last week. I know Jack, I signed you up for the 22nd. I think you told me that, okay?
That's good.
Because on the 15th is the ALOM conference, so I think the board is or the council is generally at that. Really helps if you sign up and not just say I'm gonna show up, because it helps reduce the chaos there in the morning when people show up and haven't signed up, or people that sign up and don't show up. We start juggling groups and assignments and all of that, and it just makes it easier if everyone is signed up who's intends to be there. So I said advertising is kicked off, McMail, Facebook. The library has helped out. Abby at the Heritage Center created this poster flyer handout that we've been using. There's one on the front door of Town Hall. It's on the electronic signboard at McCandless Crossing now. Senator Williams is helping with the advertising our cleanup. Plus she's her staff, who was it, Megan, is collecting information from all the other communities that they, in their district for cleanups that they're having. Not going to do any kind of contest or anything like that, but just hopefully some recognition and recognition for the folks that do help in the cleanup. Some of these cleanups, some people are doing them in March, April, even into May, so it covers the whole springtime. In our little 5-group EAC group up here in the North Hills, Franklin Park is doing a cleanup, Ross is doing a cleanup, and Hampton is doing a cleanup. I don't think we've heard from Pine.
Not on a cleanup,
Not yet.
no.
I think I looked online, they have 3 or 4 vacancies on their
Do
EAC.
they?
Yeah,
I have
so
not seen that.
they might be on a little bit of a
Okay.
stall there. So Senator Williams is on board. Representative Venkat will hopefully be here on April 22nd with some of his people or family. He's indicated that he's interested in doing that. We're coordinating this time with the activities committee. Nicole Farnan has been awesome in terms of we've exchanged ideas back and forth quite a bit about hosting a little breakfast and snacks, possibly prizes or drawings. They had an idea to reach out to LL Bean, REI, Public Lands, Dick's, those kind of places to either provide maybe a display or some advertising or some prizes or gift cards or whatever, something like that. The other thing that Nicole is hopefully going to help us with is roam around that day and take pictures of the groups. So a lot of times when we're trying to advertise, we use a picture that a group took 3 or 4 years ago. So we don't have a lot of current pictures of groups and the kids and things like that. So that'll help out. I think that's all I have with the actual cleanup, litter
Dave,
cleanup.
are we going to be able to do some live posts on the town's social media that day? John, did you decide if you're going to be coming in that day, or if Nicole can somehow maybe do live posts so that we can sort of drum up some excitement?
I think we can try to fix something out at least one of the days. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on. I'm sort of thinking that the 15th would be kind of a smaller event and the 22nd would be a larger event, but we have to kind of see how the numbers come in on the volunteers. Let's see, our committee, myself, Lynn, Kathy, and Jeff met with Representative Venkat on February 17th, and Paige Hardy from his office, his aide, had a really good meeting with him. There's if anyone's interested, they prepared a handout with a lot of facts and things that we need assistance from in terms of litter, assistance from the state and the General Assembly. A lot of it comes down to this. People haven't seen a Pennsylvania Litter Action Plan that the governor, DEP, and PennDOT put together last year, 2021. There's recommendations in there for what the state can do, what the General Assembly should do, what towns should do, individuals, businesses, that kind of thing. So that's kind of been a guide for us. Let's see, so we mostly with Representative Venkat, we talked a lot about PennDOT, about the Adopt a Highway program, the issues and problems that we've seen with that. We also gave him the Act 101 is the state's PRC put together a report on Act 101, which is the recycling law in Pennsylvania. This Act 101 was put together in 1988, I think. 35 years ago. It hasn't been updated since then. So there's a lot of new information that could be that the legislature could be working at, and PRC has about 15 or 16 recommendations in this report. I think that's it. We have a March 20th. We're going to meet with Brian. Remember? Okay. And then we also have March 28th. We've got a meeting with Senator Williams to talk about kind of the same things that we talked about with Representative Venkat. That's kind of it on litter.
Can
I
I ask
have a
one-
quick question, Dave.
Yeah, sure.
No, go ahead.
Is the Masonic Lodge gonna do a pickup again this year as well? Or have we heard from them?
Haven't heard from them. I know the first year they tried it, they kind of got scared because Pine Creek Road was so dangerous. They did do some of it. I think the second time they did get police escort
Mhm.
to help them out, if I'm
Yeah, they
remembering.
did.
They did, and their area extends all the way from Perry Highway into Franklin Park to Brant School Road, that entire section. There's not a lot of room on the side of the road. A lot of times the guardrail is right there. So
Yeah.
I
I'd
don't
just
know
be
if it-
curious to know if they're doing it this year again and if we can help accommodate in any way.
I
Yeah.
can contact them typically. It's almost like we assume that the Adopt a Highway people are not going to be doing their areas, because that's just how it.
Right,
would-
but we know for a fact that the Masonic Lodge has gone out for 2 years in a row, and if they're interested in going out again, I think we should try to accommodate it, and I think they should be invited to any sort of celebratory things we might be doing that day as part of a
Okay,
Earth Day celebration or whatever. I mean, they're helping to clean the roadways in our town, so
right.
I think they should be invited to participate, if they're gonna do something again this year.
All right, I can make the,
I just think it's nice to facilitate that relationship because clearly they have an interest. So, we're always complaining we don't get enough volunteers, and here's a group of folks that are interested. So I just want to foster that relationship if we can.
okay. We did reach out to LaRoche. They have a sign on Babcock. From Cumberland up to North Park, where they adopt, and they're planning to, I think on March 18th, I think they're planning to do the cleanup of that area. That helps us because it takes another
That's
area
nice.
away from us. Of course, I suggested that they also do Babcock down to Duncan, which is right in front of their
It's
campus.
really a mess.
And then
A mess.
Duncan to Peebles, which borders their athletic fields, and that just helps us.
They're doing it March 18th, Dave? You
I
said?
think that's what he said.
Okay,
But those other areas, he said they would try to get some folks out, other times in March and April. So
so can I ask a question? Because you say Masonic certainly has an interest. I mean, am I missing? In the times that I've been involved in the the planning of the litter. I mean, not the planning, but I haven't seen her name. Were they interested, like, or are they under different names or something? Because I don't recognize that name at all from our spreadsheets and our assignments.
Oh. I think we always treated them very separately, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I thought they worked with Franklin Park. But it was
Sorry,
the same day. I thought they had worked with Franklin Park, but it was the same day.
No, they did my section of Pine Creek last year and they did it well.
Okay, I was under the impression they had done it with Franklin Park. It was just the same date. I don't know.
Well, they probably started, Pine Creek, which starts at Franklin
Okay.
Park, and I think they worked all their way down to 19 down past Vestal.
yeah. I'm not sure if, Don, do you know, did they use McCandless Police or Franklin Park Police or both police?
They actually use both, if I recall.
I think they would have had to have used both, yeah.
Went
Okay.
handoff and such.
All right,
I can
One
for
of
sure
the-
say I saw a cop. I can't tell you which cop car it was last year, but I
Okay.
know they did have a police escort.
One of their workers had an event and they had to be taken away in an ambulance. I remember that.
Health,
It was,
they,
they were dehydrated, I believe. So
oh,
we should have water available. Just don't throw the water bottle down.
And do we use this room? We have this room for the 15th and the 22nd?
yes.
Okay, and how do you see that going? Like, when you have the assignments and everything, everybody's going to come here and you'll be here, or do you need me, or do you need other people? Like, how does the organization go?
Hopefully you, me, Lynn, and Kathy will all be here
Okay, good.
trying to organize
Okay,
things.
okay.
Supplies, getting groups together. There's a lot of what do you call, changing on the fly type thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can
Just-
do everything else while you do the changing on the fly, because that's the assignments is where
Yeah.
people get confused.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Probably won't be making assignments until the Wednesday or Thursday
Mhm.
beforehand.
Mhm.
I think, John, if you can. Let's go with 3 police for each day, if that's possible. Don't know where they're gonna be yet. And a DPW truck. I don't know if that's been reserved yet or talked about yet or not.
We'll make sure it's available.
Okay,
They've usually had a few in the past, so.
yeah,
these two are-
sometimes they've had 2
Yeah.
DPW crews, but
And one last thing, I'm sorry, and I promise I won't say anything else. Can we go back to maybe trying to grab a group picture before everybody gets started? That was always so nice to have that nice group picture and be able to post that. I think those are nice.
yep, that happened. The first or second time we were here, there was a
Mhm.
big
Yeah.
It was really nice, yeah.
group
And
here.
it's nice to see those numbers out, spread out and see the
Yeah.
faces.
That's what came up in our calendar.
Is that the picture that's in the calendar?
Yeah, I was the
Oh, okay.
younger man then.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
maybe I'm dorky, but like I just think people that do that kind of work deserve credit. So, I think that group picture should get posted to the town's page. I think we should have our litter facts posted, and I think we should update those pictures every year and show the people, that are helping to clean up the litter and give them a little credit.
Right. That the April,
I said I wasn't gonna say.
he's showing it right now, the April page on the
On the town calendar.
calendar is a great job.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Anybody
I'm-
have a
I'm on
feeling about-
lunch.
T-shirts. We've sort of given up on T-shirts.
I would give up on the t-shirts. I mean, to be honest with you, I have 10,000 t-shirts from everything I've ever participated in, and I hate them. I feel bad about having so many of them, and I don't
Okay,
want any more.
I think people were happy to get gloves. I don't
Yes.
mean that to be.
Good gloves, good gloves.
Yeah, I mean,
Agreed.
you get a pair of gloves, you take them home, everybody uses gloves.
Well, and then the vest.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they're snazzy vests. They are.
I think
snazzy
T-shirts
vests.
are albatross.
I agree.
Okay.
Oh, it looked nice. They look awfully nice in the photo.
You know what could possibly be cute? I don't know, maybe I'm goofy, and I know I said I wasn't gonna say anything else, but I always love it when I get those I voted stickers. It would be great if we had like an I volunteered sticker we could give people to wear for the day. I don't know, maybe that's goofy. I'll see if I can, I'll Google it. I'll see if I can.
We can
find
go, we
something.
can pick them up the next year then on the side of the road.
Yeah, there you go.
We could ask everybody to wear white for the picture.
Well, it all depends on the temperature, because then you've got jackets over the shirt, you've got shirts over the
Mhm.
jackets, yeah.
We have gotten, one time we got snowed out, one time we got rained out. Just Brian, just so you know, the police and DPW make the call whether we go, whether it's a go or no go. I don't want to be involved. That's not my decision. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Yep.
Okay, that's how we've been doing it. Let's see, I think that's it. Recycling is on the agenda also. There was a webinar I attended on February 21. PRC does a recycling. It's like recycling for dummies or recycling 101. They talk, I have 3 pages of notes if anyone's interested. They talk a lot about kind of the hierarchy of waste, and 40% of food is wasted and that kind of stuff. They're really stressing glass, aluminum we should be recycling every bit of glass, every bit of aluminum. Plastic, only 1 and 2s. Only that the market is only for that high quality 1 and 2 glass. Anything else, the lower quality takes too much raw material to make it into anything usable. They talk a lot about this Act 101 report.
Cardboard is important. I mean,
Cardboard is important also, yes.
I think I'd throw out the corrugated cardboard is recyclable, but a lot of us want to recycle things that are not really recyclable.
Yes,
The cardboard containers for like food.
like a cereal box is not,
Is
that paper? That's not
Even though
paper?
it feels like it would be paper,
yeah,
Oh, that's not.
but don't quote me on that. but
Yeah,
my
I-
understanding is it doesn't go in the corrugated cardboard recycling.
right.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, okay, that
right.
it can go in our recycled.
Possibly, I don't know how much it gets used. It's kind of like glass when glass was in the curbside,
Mhm.
Yeah,
only 60% of it was getting recycled, where glass in that container, 95% of it was recycled.
Right.
Just the nature of
mhm.
single
Yeah,
cycle, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Preaching the choir, but
they have a word for that. They call it wish cycling.
there's another really good one that I keep forgetting they taught me a couple years ago. Is,
The wo- the
if
woman's
you
like-
want to believe it's recyclable.
Yeah. The woman's like, you have my permission to throw things away that. Because the whole idea now is quality over quantity. They don't want contamination in the curbside pickups. So we've been trying to do a monthly tip on recycling. I can take some of this and maybe put another tip together. They don't have one of the things I was hoping for was a PRC would have their hazardous waste, electronics, that kind of stuff pick up for folks who aren't able to use the at your door service that we have through Waste Management. They don't have dates for any of that yet posted for 2023, so that'll have to wait, but
We also could add in some of that info about, making sure your trash is bagged and the lid closes too. Not strictly recycled, but it kind of fits.
yeah.
We can throw that in there too, because that's,
The current problem. that
Yeah.
We want to address.
Okay, I think I'm done. Any questions? Thanks for the suggestions, Don. Those are all, we'll follow up on that stuff. But not the stickers. If you want to look at the stickers, that's.
I'm looking for them right now. I'm gonna buy them for you. I already picked out a roll.
All right, thank you, Dave. Okay, next up, we have Wall Park Trail updates. Jack or Ken, is there anything new to report this month?
With the trail per se, no, other than that Mark Arman and I went through and flagged out where we would like the trail to go, makes the most sense. And then next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday, the local Boy Scout troop and I are going to go through and pick up as much litter and stuff as we can. So we're gonna go, I'm gonna take them around so that when we're coming back is when we're actually picking up most of the litter. Just makes sense that way. But we'll see how many young men show up and that'll be from 9 to 12 Saturday after this at Wall Park.
There'll be three of us. I'll be there with my brother-in-law and my nephew.
I was gonna say, I'll try to come. Ken, do we have DPW with a truck to take the furniture away or?
We were just gonna get everything down to the gate at this point and see, if it's behind the gate, it's not in any way and Public Works can get there when it makes the most sense for them.
Hey, Jack, do you think Public Works has any sort of like a cart, a wheeled cart or anything that for that big, how there's that big reclining chair, something, like a garden cart or something that we could use to haul that or, I don't know, Ken, are you concerned about hauling that to the gate by hand?
I have one of those garden things that
Oh,
I was
cool.
going to be taking along.
Okay, great,
We
great,
could
great.
use some moving straps. That might be beneficial.
Oh, I'll see if Jason has
You
it.
put a couple on each side.
Not, Jeff and I were planning to be there, but to focus on litter, small stuff. From the gate down to Wall Park.
Okay.
Cause that hasn't been. A couple of years ago, we combed through, like if you're at the gate, we combed through that area. All through there, except that hillside probably needs touched up again, but we didn't really get down from the gate down to Wall Park. Where we were walking, just to finish up that other day.
We're just gonna do a quick run through on the rest of Wall Park
Yes,
to pick up, and there really won't be very much, and that'll be more of a walk than anything.
right,
And then when we get to the upper end, then start,
yeah. When we did the walkthrough with Jack. We were picking up little things as we were going along, on the trail, on the flagged trail. So you might not see much there, but I mean, the big stuff is what we were hoping the scouts could deal with.
Yeah.
But
And this is muck boot type of territory, right? I mean, it's muddy down in there, isn't it?
it's where we're planning to be, I think
Yeah,
it's probably gonna be wet down there. yeah,
okay, got it.
On the lower
it
end.
depends on the day.
Mhm,
Give it a couple of days, it dries out reasonably well for most of it.
okay.
Okay, thanks for setting that up and getting that going.
Mike is the one who
Everyone can-
got the contact for the Boy Scouts, and so that's hats off to him.
Mhm.
Yeah, another thing, any kind of pictures, kudos to the Boy Scouts. that
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
thing that we could
definitely.
put out there, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Jack, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, I just want to mention, Dave, I think I gave you the contact for the IFPLL, Ingomar Franklin Park Little League. And
Yes, sir.
they can't help on April 15th, but they can do something on the 22nd. So if you want to coordinate with them, I think there's a good chance you can get a bunch of people out to help.
Yeah,
Pardon me?
My question that I'll follow up with him is, I'm not sure if they were thinking to just clean up the ball field and Don has talked about the wetlands adjacent, which I'm not really familiar with, but or whether they're looking for other areas to pick up. So I'm
Well,
not sure.
see how many people you can get them and put them to work. Do the whole town if you can.
Just one last aside, the Steward program in North Park is going to start to be planting some trees where trees have come down and things like that. Sam and I got together with Tree Pittsburgh and we're gonna get something going there. So that'll be some trees getting planted in Canlis Township.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Can we count that if they're going
Definitely.
for it? Yeah.
That's good PR for them too.
Oh, sounds good. Okay.
That's a
To
win.
that point, Dawn and I met with Ricky Houghton from Trail Pittsburgh. We went over to work on some trails in North Park to try to get some working knowledge about building trails. And we're also in touch with Ed Engler, who, Dawn, what's the name of his organization?
I have no idea. Jeff. You keep
Ah,
asking me,
it
I
is-
don't know. I'll look it up.
He's a guy that has access to finances. I think he helped with that Marshall Trail, all the money up there that they got for their trail. And he's got this big grandiose vision of all of Allegheny County. He's got some feelers out with Franklin Park right now. They're going to rebuild that interchange over at 9, 10, and 79. And he wants to make sure that there's some kind of walkable access at that up there when they rebuild that in the next 2 years. But he also is a connection down through, his plan is to connect it down through Ohio Township and across Interstate 79 and hit over to the what is that, Montour Trail.
Yeah.
He wants to connect everything up. So he's got this big plan for all of Allegheny County.
Got to get across the river for that, right?
Yeah, I think somehow he wants to use the Interstate 79 bridge. I don't know whether there's a walkway on that or not. I know there's one over the,
They're adding one. There's not one now.
oh, there's not one now? Okay. Well, that's his problem, not ours.
Yeah.
Just tell you what his vision is. So more to come on Ed Engler and Rick Houghton and how they can help us with our trail.
Right. Okay, anything else for Jack or for Ken? No, thanks for the updates and that kind of rolls into yours, Dawn. The applying for the grant for the tools.
Yeah, just real quick. So we sent them a draft. We sent the NAEC a draft and we got their feedback. And we need to revise our grant request. And they're meeting again at the end of March. So Jack's maneuvering to get some tools through some other channels. So revising our grant request is going to be good because we're going to ask for different lesser things. So stay tuned. That's really
Thank
all I
you
have.
for following up with that as well.
Yep.
Okay, any other projects that I missed? If not, then I'll move on to community outreach topics. First up, the catch basin decal video. Dawn and I did meet last weekend and filmed some application of decals onto the pavement. So I guess Dawn's working with the technology and putting all that together. I have all of the materials. What I'm going to do, I just have everything in a box. I'm going to separate it into 3 or 4 bags so that we can then deliver all the supplies to Matt and to the school. I did have to purchase a little more adhesive. That was the one thing. I had 7 tubes left to go with about 150 decals. One tube is supposed to do 15 decals, which I think is a stretch. But anyhow, I ordered 6 more. They were $10 a tube through, I think, one of the companies that makes the decals. So they're actually supposed to show up at my house tomorrow. I'll get that receipt to you, John. Hopefully that's okay. And then that way we should have everything that the kids need to get out and start putting the decals out on the streets. I also put together, we took the list, Dawn had pulled the list of the 2022 paving program streets. I also pulled the 2021 paving program streets since we haven't done this since like 2019. So the kids will have a pretty good list. And I plotted all those streets on a map. So lots of handouts. We can hand that to the group and hopefully they can disperse and put all these things down for us.
Right.
Jeff over at Public Works mentioned that he's got like 300 or 400 decals. So
Oh, no.
you want some more?
Well, let's see how we do with what we have. And then we could certainly keep this going. And that reminds me too, I need to send off an email to Jeff. And whoever else you think we need to notify that this will be going on. That the kids will be out on the streets. We'll make sure they have the vests on and they're out in groups of at least 2 so that, you know,
Mhm.
they're watching traffic. But is there anybody else we should notify that the kids are out there?
Yeah, I think Chief Hawk, so
Okay,
he's aware.
And maybe we could, John,
Okay.
could you maybe do some social media posts just to let people know that the kids are out there?
Yeah, just to be careful if you're out there.
Yeah,
okay. Should we wait till we have dates or just kind of put the information out there that this spring they should be? Because we may not know
I think we'll
exactly.
know it. It's like, as long as we have some awareness
Okay,
of that day, that way whoever's, you know, the shift officer in charge knows and can tell
Okay.
everyone what's going on.
okay,
yeah, we'll have to find out from Miss Lombardi when the kids intend to do it, but I know she's
Okay.
presenting it to them on the 14th. And I'm assuming she's gonna leave it up to them as to when they wanted to go do it, but maybe she can let us know.
okay. And I'll share that with Pat as well.
Did your video go over, you know, what happens if a neighbor comes out and says,
What do you do?
what are you doing? You
Yeah.
know,
I did a quick piece on that.
okay,
Dawn can tell us how it came out or. 'Cause
Well, I'm
anything
still working on the
out
video, but
voiceover.
Judy's a lovely
Oh.
spokeswoman. So the video, the raw footage that I have to work with is wonderful. It's but I don't have the finished product done just yet, but she did cover that. And she
Okay.
experienced that herself, I believe,
Because,
as well,
yeah.
when she was.
that's what I'm
detailing it.
remembering, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So,
That's
Just-
why I thought, you know, we should post on social media, just let as many channels as we
Yeah.
can to let folks know it's gonna happen. So hopefully the children won't be accosted by nebby neighbors, but you know,
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, they will be.
They will be.
And I get it. That's fine. You can come out and ask. But just told them to use the opportunity to educate everybody.
Right.
That's all. I know. Okay, any other?
And call town hall. Right.
Any other questions on that? And Matt wasn't able to join us tonight, so that's pretty much that's what his update was
Right.
our updates on these. Next, North Hills EAC. I kind of threw out, well, first, I think I went over some of these last month, just to run down on what the other EACs have been doing or are doing related to Earth Day in the spring. Dave caught some of it, the ones that are doing cleanups. Ross is working with PRC, the PRC. They're actually sponsoring some of their workshops. They were going to help them. I think they were going to present the composting and the rain barrel. I can't remember. There were 2 of them,
Mhm.
but not only were they sponsoring them at their facility, they were offering reduced cost for the workshops for their residents. Because those works, I just did the composting one and I think it was $70. But that also included the bin. So I thought that was a win. But somehow, and I'll have to talk to Caitlin at Ross and find out how they work that out. Is the township actually subsidizing, or is that just some way the PRC is giving back to the town for allowing them to host? But I thought that was very interesting. If a township resident signed up for the workshop at Ross, they got a reduced registration fee. So I'll see if I can get some more information on that. You know, Franklin Park's doing the roadside cleanup. Hampton is also doing a tree adoption event in, I think, is that along with their cleanup day? I can't remember, but they have a tree adoption event scheduled. It hasn't happened yet, but Jane with Hampton is going to keep me in the loop as to how that goes.
That's a program with Tree Pittsburgh
I believe
that
so.
they're doing.
Mhm.
I've dealt with Tree Vitalize before and done like the tree giveaways,
Mhm.
so I'm happy to
Okay,
coordinating.
Because that's something we've kind of had in the back of our minds for a while, never really,
Yeah.
got it going. So Jane is going to share with us how it goes in Hampton.
Yeah, I think there's some piece like you're supposed to have some tree tenders. that
Mhm.
are
Yeah,
qualified,
Okay,
and then you can participate in the program. But
got it.
I-
Okay.
I've talked to some of the other members of the COG. Fire
Mhm.
Council Department.
I can tell you, I also signed us up for 10 million trees, Pennsylvania, and I just haven't had the time to go through their little training video that they want you to go through to become a tree tender, but I've gotten good reports back from folks that have worked with them.
Mhm.
So that's another option for us for getting free trees and free caging and materials like that for folks. So.
And We Conserve PA, that the folks that oversee all the EACs are having an information session. I believe it's virtual on the 16th of March. It was buried down in one of those We Conserve newsletters. And Jane pointed that out to me, that deals with the tree adoption events and how to get one
Nice.
started.
Just as an aside, this is when North Hills Environmental Advisory is doing their tree sale, NAAC.
Mhm.
So if you're interested in some different trees and things like that, that's one of their fundraisers. You can look that up. They're going to be delivering the trees in April.
No, that's NAEC.
Yeah.
I think I got
Email.
an email
Yeah,
on
I
that,
had an email about that too.
right?
Let me
Okay.
just say this, I am in love with bayberry right now, and they're selling bayberry bushes, and it's a really nice bush. They say it in their flyer, and they're right. It's a really nice bush to replace privet. So I don't know if any of y'all have privet in your yards that you're looking to get rid of and replace with something, but bayberry is a nice option.
I was teasing them that their picture of bayberry is browsed by deer. It was trimmed by deer.
Okay, and then also Pine is they're hosting a 4-part speaker series. The first thing they're offering is they're doing the Lawn to Nature program for NAEC and autonomy. And that's on April the 23rd. I think anybody can sign up on their website. And they're doing it hybrid, so it's in person or virtual. And Lawn to Nature program is up and running. I believe I went on the same site that I signed up for you could buy the package for $20, or you could just buy a new seed packet for, I think it was $6.50. And I just ordered more seeds to throw out around the one I started last year. And I also reached out to the group to see, if I could get someone to volunteer to host our next event. And Liz Spence in Hampton responded and said she thinks that they can do it at one of their pavilions in their community park. So she is looking into dates and details for that. So stay tuned. Hopefully,
Great.
I'm thinking April or May, we can get our next event together, hosted by Hampton.
Yeah, I'd say May if everybody can kind of give a summary or report back on what their spring type activities were, whether they're cleanup or trees or some of these programs.
And Liz had also suggested inviting NAEC to join us, since they've been kind of working with a lot of us in various capacities.
Right.
That thought maybe it's a good idea I can contact Beth and see if any of their group wants to come out and see what else we can collaborate on.
This is good.
Liz is also looking for folks to serve on the board at NAEC for anybody that's interested. So it's like they're looking for some new bodies there.
Yeah, Bill retired and stuff.
Yeah. So, okay, that's what I have on North Hills EAC. Anybody have any other questions or thoughts? Next speaker series. I just received, Tony was not able to make it last minute, but I got this from him. He's been working with Greg Winks. I think he discussed him at the last meeting. that he is willing to give a talk. Is the description here is presentation that features 30 minutes on home performance, electrification, energy efficiency, etc., followed by 30 minutes on the benefits of solar and how to go solar. Tony says we can talk about heat pumps, EVs, home energy savings, going electric, all the different ways homeowners can look at it going more efficient. So Tony, they came up with 2 dates, I guess. That's why I have a calendar sitting here. They propose either May 9th or the 16th. Those are both Tuesdays. Tony's now checking with Abby at the Heritage Center. If you just send an email out on that to check her dates. So John, I think we're gonna look at maybe doing it over there again if they can fit us in. So we wouldn't need this facility. But once again, I got this from Tony about an hour ago, so that's hopefully next up for speaker series. Anybody have any comments on that? That sound okay?
Does
Mhm.
sound okay.
I'm very thankful for
Sounds
Tony's
good.
connections at Pitt, willing to come out and do these talks for us. So last couple have been well done. So so that's what I have for speaker series. Any other community outreach programs anyone wants to discuss? Okay. Then we'll move on to miscellaneous items. April McMail tips. I guess we don't have a volunteer for that. And I have to say, it's been a while since I've done one, so I will, if somebody has a topic they want to jump on this month, I will put something together. And what is the date you need that, John?
March 29th.
Okay. Okay, and Dawn attended the EAC network conference for us, or at least parts of it, and registered, so which makes us eligible to see the links and everything. So I'll let Dawn tell us what she saw.
Well, I'm a bit behind. I only attended the one session. So I will get an email out to everybody. And I'll point folks to specific links. Like there were some good energy efficiency talks that I didn't go to, breakout rooms, but maybe Tony could catch those talks for us and give us a quick summary of anything he thinks interesting there. But the one thing that I would like to mention quickly, Dave, I know you've had an interest in the past in potentially being a voice to the planning commission on things. And it was interesting, the one group, and I apologize, I don't remember the name of the town off the top of my head, but that EAC, rather than sort of waiting for an invitation from the town or from the planning commission, what they started doing was checking the monthly agendas. And if they saw something going before the zoning or the planning commission that they had an opinion on or wanted to offer some expertise on, then one of the members, they put together a few talking points. And then one of the members would attend the planning commission meeting and just speak on behalf of, the EAC as a educated voice. And so in that way, they were able to contribute when they felt like there was something, coming before one of those groups that needed to be addressed. So I just thought, you've mentioned that in the past, Dave, and I do think it's a worthwhile effort for our EAC if it was something somebody wanted to do, if somebody wanted to watchdog the monthly agendas, or maybe get them from RJ a little bit ahead of time, and just maybe send out an email if there's an item of concern, and we could certainly all chime in an email and be able to, I would think, come up with some talking points pretty quickly, but just an idea, something to think about. I can send you the link to that specific talk, Dave, if you're interested in looking at it. I will send it to you. I'll send it out to everybody, here in another week or
Me
two.
too, because I get the feeling that that's going to be somewhat important to me as I see what's on the agenda. and how it fits into what I'm trying to accomplish.
Mm.
I think I'm gonna be forced to do that.
Okay.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
you could be our watchdog, Jeff, and sort of alert us when.
Well, I
you
won't
see
take Dave's
something.
position as the watchdog. I mean, that's, listen.
I think you just got voluntold.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah,
So
'cause-
that's really the only thing I'm in a position to speak about just yet, because I didn't, like I said, that was my birthday weekend, so I had a big party and all. No, I didn't. I
We're,
napped, but yeah, I didn't get to attend the full day session, just the one. So I will have a report out via email here before the next meeting. How about that?
No, that'd be great. Thanks.
Because Don, because I think we have heard one of the local EACs, that's pretty much their,
Yeah, who was that? Was that Ross?
That's
Hampton.
Hampton.
that's pretty much
Hampton.
their
Hampton.
only
Let's get to-
thing that they're,
Right.
responsible for.
They don't really do the projects like we
Yeah.
do. They're
Yeah.
specifically part of the planning
Right,
process.
so that's interesting, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But that's how we get things done at work, is you usually don't ask for permission, you ask for forgiveness, you sidle up to the table and wait till somebody kicks you out. So if we want to have a voice, maybe we should just start inviting ourselves to the meetings. They'll enjoy that, I'm sure, so.
Thanks, Don. Okay, any other topics that we missed? Anything you'd like added to next month's agenda? Okay, then we move on to report from town council. Jack, did we have our project form approved? You're on mute.
That works better that way.
There you go.
Our EAC STEM project was approved, so.
All right, thanks.
Katie barred the door. And I think Brian is going to speak to us tonight a little bit about our situation where we have the recycling bins. Brian?
Yeah, I'm been trying to figure out the best solutions options we have for our last recycling bin and our current 3 cardboard recycling bins.
Mhm.
There's also a donation bin that we've asked to have that removed, because there's 2 of them that you can see. We can just drive up and down Inglemark Road, so there's plenty of options available for that.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find the possibility of an alternative site for the glass recycling. How that'll work, I don't know. I've reached out to a couple businesses and thinking about some other options that might work. But I'm working on trying to see if there's something that happens, because one of the things that is important, we do pay for it, but we also do get grant money back for the amount that we recycle. So I don't want to eliminate the program in that sense, but I would like to try to find maybe a better solution for us that isn't where it is. As for the cardboard, it has gotten better in the sense of how messy it is, only because I think the Christmas season is where it gets out of control.
Okay.
And people just don't follow the rules. You can put up 4,000 signs. We're going to continue that. So one of the signs that is up there now is letting everybody know that you can contact Waste Management and get additional bins.
All right.
Or you can get 1 additional bin for free that's for recycling.
Hmm.
That's part of our contract. So we're trying to see if that maybe gets some kind of traction. And then my next step is probably to see either if I can explore any alternative locations for those, but also maybe doing like a temporary pause on it down there with until people follow the rules. We need to take a step back because the biggest problem is many people, I shouldn't say, there's a lot of people that don't break it down, and a lot of people that just throw it on top of the ground. That's where we are. But I'd like to get to a place that we don't have 3 dumpsters down there somehow, some way, but we still have the ability to recycle. My understanding of how we got here anyway is when we switched to the automatic bins, or the bins with the arms that go up on the recycling trucks. That we offer this because of the fact that we now didn't have unlimited recycling anymore that you can just throw out. When you go to that overhead, those automatic bins, like we're way ahead of the game, but when you make that change, that's a big deal. Anyone that's reading a message board in Ross Township or Hampton right now, will feel the pain of what we went through when we did that. So and then it's generally grown into more, just trying to keep up with where it is, so. I'm working on it, I don't know what my solution will be, but just wanted to let everyone know that, you know. We all sit out, everyone that sits on this side of the building, John, me. Finance department, we look out the window and see people just breaking the rules all day long, and we'd like to try to find a solution.
I
Well
appreciate
done.
I would get an air horn. That's what I would.
Yeah, some sort of alarm. You just push a button and
Yeah.
the horn
Or
goes
water
off.
soaker, yeah.
Do you think if somebody like puts a TV box in there and it's got all the styrofoam and plastic and all that stuff, do you think, does that contaminate the whole load, do you think, or?
I doubt that
not?
it contaminates it the same way that food products do in a single cycle.
Okay,
But it still makes it less
Right.
profitable for whoever's taking it and is trying to turn it around
right,
somehow, somehow.
because the slit forces you to break things down, but
Yeah.
at the same time, the lids come up. So,
And it's very difficult to get locking. Generally speaking, haulers will charge you more if you want to lock in the system, because
They have to unlock
they
it.
don't want to get out and have that lock.
yeah, like a bank would have or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I even flirted with the idea of like, well, all right, if we build something around it that kind of hides it. And the response, thinking that one through, was that people just throw it over the fence and it's locked.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it'll be more of a mess. So, I'd like to do something about it. I mean, I wish we had easily had space somewhere that the cameras could say, here's a place that we can make happen, but I don't have that. That is an apartment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we figure out why the glass bin got full, I guess, and people started putting stuff there? Was there like a
Someone,
missed pickup or?
in my opinion, is number one, they have a camera in there. It did get locked. So there was maybe a day or two lag. There was a weekend that someone must have brought so much glass because John went out and looked at it. There was space in there.
Mhm.
Monday, it was everywhere.
Everywhere.
And
Wow.
And generally speaking, I mean, Michael Brothers is trying to be very responsive. They believe in the program. They do a lot of good things. They've called and checked even if they weren't sure of the camera.
Yeah,
So I mean, we haven't had that problem since. I just feel like we kind of caught a weird 24, 48 hours that they kind of hit that moment. Because since I've been here, I haven't seen another time that got to that
right.
level.
Yeah, I haven't, I always thought it was either a missed pickup or just holidays. Everybody was drinking, you know, like crazy and.
Well, last time I came, there's like 3 different places. I had to go to the far back. You just have to look.
Right.
They were full in the front, but then I went to the back one and there was still plenty of room left back there. So I don't know if people just keep shoving without.
Yeah, I
looking
know
right.
somebody had mentioned. You know, there's those hooks on the door.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're like the little old lady might have.
Yeah, they're not getting that
trouble
bungee
doing
cord.
that.
Mhm.
The last municipality I was in, we had stairs around 2 recycling bins just like that. Look at that as a possible option and what, you know, it's
Right.
safe, it's something we can do. It
Right,
was just kind of, you know, metal stairs, 3 steps that got you up to above it.
Mhm.
Because no doubt, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that can't reach up there. I
Yeah.
can't say that I'm super tall here, trying to get up in there.
Dave, another problem is people don't realize there's a left side to that bin.
yeah,
And so the right side gets full, but the left side is still very accessible.
yeah,
And part of our problem was there was a lot of debris over there and our public works cleaned it up. So that might be helpful.
yeah. When I was there a couple days ago, the left side is kind of on the muddy, it's kind of muddy on the left side and then the right side is the pavement, so.
Yeah.
If you have a choice, you're gonna go on.
Which was out this week, I saw them, but I think the problem is it's one of those, the wind blows to it. And just kind of traps organic material.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
you know, continue to try to see if we can find something.
But you
something
need-
that might work.
You need space to get the trucks in and out. You can't just
Yeah.
find a
Squeeze
space
it back
where
in the
the
corner.
container fits. It's
The
gotta,
way those trucks come, like, they gotta be able to pull like right back up to it.
right,
It's their
right,
torque is what gets it up on
Mhm.
right.
the chassis.
I appreciate the update
Yeah.
and your.
But you
efforts. Thanks.
do think the town gets money
Yeah.
for For
Act
the
Act
cardboard
101,
or the glass or?
which was, I think, the Act 102 was the grant program.
Oh,
So
okay.
everything that we recycle, curbside and all the recycling that takes place in the town. Those weights. I believe John is the one that submits that report to the county and then to the state with a grant application. And we get money back based on our recycling. So that's why we're always trying to encourage people to recycle.
Right.
Glass, when based on weight, is heavy. And is
Right.
extremely helpful to that program to get reimbursed.
Do you think people would recycle more if they knew that it was a moneymaker for the town?
I've gone down that path a few times because that was my selling point in certain places. I think it works for a little bit. Yeah, I think there's little pieces and that word gets out, but it's really hard. But maybe that's something we talk about in one of our emails and just kind of keep.
Yeah, is that a tip? Do you know that your municipality receives, credits without being too explicit?
Recycle tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to say.
Do you want to lower your taxes? Well, recycle more.
Don't go that far, but we can help continue to keep your taxes low.
You're right.
With programs like this.
But
Mhm.
if that money came to, I don't know, playgrounds or trails or recreation or something like that, if it was earmarked for something rather than just,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not a
know.
cleasy amount of money, so that's
Yeah,
not hard to
yeah,
Yeah.
probably not.
budget that way. I mean, and even the program, like we're paying for those dumpsters. To some degree, it goes back into that.
Right,
One of
right.
the other
Mhm.
things.
Just some history. When did the EAC start? 2018? We were in that room over there. One of our first meetings, we looked out the window and looked at those dumpsters. It was an issue back then.
Oh, yeah. It's a struggle because we don't have a great place for it.
Yeah,
And it's not something other municipalities don't deal with too, because most of our places are public places that we want people to gather.
Yeah.
Brian, what if we go back to recycling the glass in our curbside containers?
But it's not in our contract, so there's, at this moment, if we ask for that. Now that Waste Management has offered that again, there will be a cost increase. So unless we find another solution there, I'm not sure that's the best option for them.
Well, I think it's something that we should at least explore. How much do you think it would add?
Probably about $8 per year. Per household.
I don't think that's too unreasonable.
why do you want to get rid of glass recycling, Jack? It's the most successful program in the state.
No, I'm saying put it in
AOC.
our curbside container.
Back
We
to
would
the
still
single
recycle
frame.
it, but we would get rid of the container there in front of town hall.
So it goes to a landfill.
No,
No, it would go in where you're putting your cardboard today.
But is it back in the
He's
single
saying
frame thing?
we
though?
would pay Waste Management to collect the glass for us at the
They don't recycle.
curbside.
Or, okay,
There was a time.
They don't take it on Neville Island. They don't want it.
They've gone back on that. That was the statement when they kicked it out of everybody's.
Not when we were down there in October or whenever it was.
I mean, that's the new contracts they just did with a lot of our neighboring communities. They're recycling glass, but it comes back to what I said earlier, it's about 60% of it gets properly recycled. So your best option is some type of sorted system of recycling glass.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay. Oh, thanks.
Jack, do we have anything else from council?
Nope, we're good.
Okay, and we do have a member of the public with us tonight. Thank you for coming.
I'm coming with a thank you and a request.
Okay,
So.
and can you give us your name again? I'm sorry. I know.
Ellen Wright,
Yeah.
9635 Old Coomer Road, Allison Park, PA 15101. So I was here in the fall about the lights out for the bird
Right.
migration.
Uh-huh.
And I want to thank you for putting this out on Facebook. I want to thank Don for creating what I just passed out to you. This was what was on Facebook in the fall. And between the lights and the loves, there were 10, including the Audubon Society of Western Pennsylvania. And then there were, I believe, I'm not on Facebook, but I believe that's 6 additional shares. So it was a nice response. And I was wondering if the same post could go up, because we're approaching third migration between March 15th and May 31st. And if the same post could go out, it's a lovely ad that you've been done, and just change the dates on it.
Sure, I can edit it and send it back to John.
And so the migration goes from March through May, and I wondered if it could go out again in April and out again in May.
Okay.
And is that something that could go in McMail too? I heard a conversation about McMail.
Could be part of that, yeah.
Sure. In fact, if you, 'cause we have a monthly EAC tip in there, and if you'd like to make that our monthly tip, I'd be more than happy to take that information and put it in there.
You got it easy.
I know, you've just done my work for me. So, if there's anything in particular, I mean, if you'd like to do a write-up, I'm happy to put it in there. Or if you just want to, send me to the sources and I'll put something together, I'm happy to do that.
No, this is.
Actually, Judy, I think you sent me the links last fall.
I think I did.
Yeah,
didn't
and those
do that
websites were great. They had a lot of great factual information. I bet you'll be able to get what you need for a write-up there. If you can pluck those out of your email.
Yeah, because I think you had
want me
given us some email, or I'd gone and Googled it, and it was very interesting.
I can resend it, Judy, if you can't find it. I don't
Okay.
usually delete stuff like that.
And I'm sure it's back in mine somewhere
Okay,
too.
good.
Well, it's right here on the posting too. It's at birdcast.info and birdsafe.
There you go. Okay.
So it's right on the Facebook post. I thought it was, do I have a minute to tell a personal story before I do another thing? I had family that was traveling overseas, and they were traveling in Germany, and they're very energy conscious in Germany, or at least the part of Germany where they were traveling. And the window coverings didn't let out any light at all. And so even though they were in a town, they could see the Milky Way from the town because there just wasn't that light pollution escaping out, along with everything outside. And then listening, I hadn't planned to mention this, but having heard part of the agenda, we're talking about going to planning commission and to zoning. And I think Judy was on the task force for the zoning redoing. They voted that out at the planning commission, the draft at the last meeting yesterday. And that's due to come up in May for the public hearing. And it's my understanding that the whole zoning has been redone, and it wasn't a case of taking what was there and editing it. It was kind of throwing everything
A
out.
complete redo, that's correct.
And so the old zoning, I think, was like maybe 300 pages. So now there's another 300 pages of new zoning. And so that might be something to take a look at between.
Right, and I could try and put that in a little bit of context, at least how it was explained to the task force. So I'm not a planner, so I learned a lot going through that. It's almost more format and something they can actually that they can actually work with. The other one is very old. Format wise, it was very difficult to follow. So that just the formatting, you'd look for one thing and then you'd have to refer to 3 or 4 different places to get all the information you need, so that they tried to streamline it. And so much of the criteria in there, there's so much going up before the zoning hearing board, because there's some really kind of almost ridiculous now restrictions on what people can do with their property. So that was one thing they're looking at. So there were a lot of things, and it was a complete redo just from a format standpoint. And after, listening and having to work through that and understand what the zoning hearing board was going through, it made a lot of sense. So, but by all means, it's there for people to look at.
I think that. It's a legal document though.
Mhm.
So that if. I think people have found out in the past that they thought that they've had some protections from the zoning. And this isn't my neighborhood, and I only know about it more or less by hearsay, but when Sheets, where they wanted to, it's over by CCAC.
Mhm.
And so Sheets wanted to do all kinds of modifications and had a really big super center Sheets. And I don't think they were really protected through the zoning, but they were able to get modifications from Sheets. So
Mhm.
that what is in that zoning is really important. I've been here at town council meetings where Sisters of the Divine Providence thought that they had been told that zoning said that there wouldn't be a rifle range in McCandless Crossing. And that they were under the impression that after a year, if there was nobody in there, then it would revert back. Well, there wasn't any zoning that said that. So,
Well, and all I can say, and once again, I really can't address the whole thing. I was on the task force,
right.
but trying to close a lot of loopholes that were in the old one.
Yeah.
So, and I know that in particular is a topic that's covered that was not covered before.
I hope that there are protections for green space in the new zoning. And, so,
The only thing I can say for sure is that there is mention of our landscape planting guide. That we
Yes.
put together. So
Yeah.
that's on our plate to expand on that. Because now that it is in the zoning code, what we have in there is really it's a rough framework to start with. It's limited right now, and we plan to expand that, but I did see that is.
I saw that too, and I always say it along the nature center at North Park, they have a pretty
Yeah,
extensive planting guide.
yes, they do. They do.
So
But
that's
thank
all I
you.
have to do, and thanks for you guys, like all the time that you put into the council and everything.
Well, thanks for coming
Thank
to
you.
our meeting and sharing with us. Appreciate it. Okay, if there's no other topics for discussion, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll
Motion.
motion.
Second?
Jeff and Dawn.
There you go. Pick one.
I'll second. I always
There
defer
you
to
go.
All right,
Thank you, Jeff.
all in favor? Adjourning.
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
It's not even 9:00.
Look at that. I know.
All right.
Thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good night.